Talasisi ji surwa dabi ke jira pan mi nyang de ju pang tu si nye zong ni ta tam che kong yu she tam bi chu na tun za ko dam de la shang sa lo o mo yo sam na dor ji na ju ra ji long sam ta khui ta je ngon de ju ra de di lang jang sa re nga la yo tu je ba na la so wa de ka ji tan bi dung ra kan sa re jang ku bi ten na la me cho so wang ge ma nga don na la so bi sa yi la ma na la so wa de ye kre yer da trip chen na bo ba ka jan de ma cho to san je ma sa gi kan bi ti le ji jam gun tara na tara so wa de ka sam dung ra chen ra ke ji im chen nya so me khong yo ra je la Tim Zhentong lam nye de dam she na tam ba nam ji nung thar sa de so. Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about Sotantrika. So Tibetan Korum Durtiva and Vabhashika Tibetan Kor Sheptagmawa. So this Sheptagmawa and Durtiva, what is the big difference is when they making the two truth very different. So, for instance, that's Vibhashika's the truth. The ultimate truth is the momentary of the substance. Basically, the smallest particle, the core atom. Okay, but maybe that term they know only know the atom. Atom directionless. There's no directions. Directionless atom. That's a small one. And hipatugicha, himerkachichami means the mind also partless, partialless or partless the mind. Hipatugicha means the partless, partless the substance, and the mind is the smallest, the most subtle is the Tujichamit. So it cannot make past, present, future. Just the absent of this. This small because smallest the shortest the time. So this one is the ultimate truth. Everything else not true, and so that's why is a relative truth. But this Nordeva, this Tantrika, they make different. So in this, so Tantrika saying everything, how you say it? Which means the ultimate truth is really functional. Anything is functional is really ultimate truth. Something is non-functional, the ultimate, the relative truth. So it's very different. So that means is functional means real object such as the forms like visual, color, shape, sound, smell, any of these things is ultimate truth. Okay, ultimate truth. That is the real, and you can say real truth. And then anything other than that, just such as year, time, the space, the actions, everything, something. If you think simple way, is anything mind, liberate, anything, that is the relative truth, because not real. So think that way. So then it's a very big difference. So all these Indian force, the Indian Buddhist force schools, they're very different way to make the two truth. Okay, especially this Vibhashika and the Svatantrika, very different. Okay, so some people think it's the opposite, you know. So have to think about that. So that's why here saying Dumapshi, so uncompounded phenomenal, Damendavshit, the non-compensational factor, these things is imputation, which means you mind, you liberate. That's only that's just liberate that level of or the truth is not in the real substance truth. Okay. And then that means there is the relative truth. It's not the ultimate truth. So what ultimate truth is? So the gross level of the form and so forth. Form and so forth means form means sometimes you understand the form means smell, sound, everything is a form. But sometimes only the color and shape was a form. Okay, so here I think the color and shape, and then the continuity, and then hiba, the mind, continuity of mind. They are true. They are true means they are ultimate truth. Okay. And then, okay, what about the past and future? The past and future is also is not true. So that means the relative truth is not ultimate truth. Okay. Tartavi danchan zam dance, hiparkaching ma zam chamit the interviews. So present the present these atoms and or these particles, very small particles, and then the present momentary of the mind, that is only truth, that they are only real. So therefore, in Vibhashika, remember Vibhashika said the object of form and the eyes consciousness directly touch each other. And so that's where you perceive the forms and smell, sound, everything. But here, the Svatantrika say no. Mikir zugna mamton means the eyes never see the object. Michi jijang zug rungus mamton te michi jim tonwa te na michi tenyen la zugna kharwa te zuki number takpa hipar kirwate in las. Okay, then it's mig means the eye means you have to think of the eye's sense faculty. Okay, the sense faculty. So the sense faculty never see directly the color and shape. And then okay, if that case, then and then is the eye's consciousness. Eye's consciousness can see directly the color shape. Also no. Okay. Then what? Then so basically, what we think we see in is kind of the like camera. You reflecting the image, and you only see that. That's what you call see, but it's not really see, but you call see. We perceive as see. Appearance, appears as like see in the form. And this one we known as we see the form, we smell, we taste, we call that. But the real truth is you only see in the you can say copy or reflection. That's only you can experience it. Okay, then why then you can perceive means why you can perceive. Or because the forms is the truth. Remember the ultimate truth for them. Ultimate truth is, so that's why they are true. So that make a condition you can experience that this experience in this reflection. So that's why that's the only reason you see it. Okay, number they are objectively exist outside. Okay. Okay, now they're talking about here this Swatantrika. There is 7 sections of the logic system. So this one, the philosophy logic system. So this 7 is they don't believe as Buddha's teaching. Somebody else made up. Okay. Shepchak, Shetpasuk, Lahtu, Sola, Churva Yudpi. Also, there's called another text called Shepchak Shanzut. Do you have that text name? Yeah, okay. That one also, Vibhashika believes that, but these people don't believe they are Buddhist teaching, okay? Buddha teaching. Because they see there is mistakes. So therefore, if you want to know Buddha's teachings, you have to rely on sutras. This says sutras? Yeah. Okay, sutras, they say that. And then what is the commonly Vibhashika and this is the Sautrantika, what is the common have is what is the Buddha's teachings, real teachings is Nyantu Gichet chance. So what Buddha taught is for who? The name? Sharvakas, yes. Whatever the Sharvakas the Buddha taught, these things is real Buddha's teachings. But Hirshin source, Pashina Paramita say?
Yes, and Ratnakuta and Avatam Sakam.
Yes, these ones they don't believe Buddha's real teachings because they Mahayana belong. Mahayanas rely on these things. So they don't believe yes Buddha's teaching. Okay. And then the same time, they understand something high vehicle and lower vehicle. Okay. So Mahayana and Hinayana, they can understand that. Seems like they believe that. Then if you question, say, oh, these all Mahayana sutras, you believe they are no Buddha's teachings. And then where is the Buddha, the Mahayana teachings? If you say that, the answer is like this. Oh, Mahayana or Hinayana is depend the individuals. the individual's mind very good and they're good practitioner, then is Mahayana. But if they are not so good, then is they are Hinayana. They don't have separate sutras. But how much you understand or how much you can comprehend, or I don't know, they didn't say very clear, but whatever is different individually, you can make their Mahayana person or and Hinayana person. Only you can make that way. It's not separate teachings. They believe like that way. Okay.
Are they saying it's based on action and not on view?
Based on person's capability. It's not based on separate teachings. So the all the known Mahayana teachings, they didn't believe as Buddha's teaching. Somebody made up. Okay. But at the same time, it's a funny thing. The same time they believe something a Mahayana person. So Mahayana person and not Mahayana is dependent on the person's understanding ability. Okay. So that's why the last time at the Theravada monk, I try to, how they say differently, what is exactly different makes Mahayana and, Hinayana, they didn't have answer clear. Okay. Seems not many people can understand today is clear. I met many monks. I try the Theravada monks. Many of them, they can't speak English, but many of them I met, they can speak English. That monk we discussed last year, he is the best. He know many things, but he, as far as I remember, he think there is no hugely clearly distinctions. Okay. Okay. Tiên nam ji con đều lạc tần đồ pha tê kinh tông thắc chân gục ba nữa. So then Taranatha come on here. These people talk about the truth. The ultimate truth is this. Basically, this all related to the everyday experience. They are substantial ones that they call ultimate truth. Okay. So they are true. They are real, according to this. So that's why Taranatha is saying they misunderstanding. And then the sutras, they say, oh, this is not Buddha's teaching. That part is they're misunderstanding. They're not understanding. So that part is a problem, false. Yet then they say, oh, there is no self. And they understand everything momentarily impermanent. That part they understand is correct. That's Taranatha's comments. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the Chittamata. Chittamata in Tibetan called Simtsamba. Simtsamba means mind only. Okay. Why they call mind only? Because in this school, say what the Vibhashika say, or these momentary things and very they are real, and then this the short momentary is real, and then this short substance is real. Why they say real? Because they think if even we say nothing is real, then we go to nihilism. They think that way. So nobody want to go nihilism. So that's why they think that must be truth. Okay. But then this Svatantika thinking differently. Anything we elaborate, anything we conception of things, they think is not real. But substantially we can attach we can see, we can smell it. They think that is real. If that is not real, then is nothing real. Then is again nihilism. They think that way. But this mind only school, not think that way. This is high, more high. So that's why they think everything is, the mind is only the real. Everything else not real. Even we think is real, or because of touch or smell, everything is, but still is not real. Just mind made up, all of them. Nothing the mind. But mind have to be real, otherwise again go to nihilism. Okay? Zuk sok shiror gi yer namnar malam gi zuk sok tar hipanya der nawayinkis. So they give example, if when we are the dream, everything it looks, feels like rare and appears exactly, but is we know when we wake up, we know it's not real. It's all mind made up. So same thing, everything we appears when we are human, everything looks, feels everything appear rare, is not real, just mind made up. Okay. So then he gave example. For instance, the sense faculties, the physical faculties, this also, they say, of course, outside object, the material, all of them not real, but even the sense faculty, perceiver, the sense faculty, even that appears like sense faculty, a receiver, but is not real. It's just mind, appears mind that way, is not real, no real substantial. No eyes, no true existing eyes, no inherent eyes there. As same as all forms, everything appears also same. There is no inherent forms. Only you can appears your eyes continue appears that way, appears as form, appears as a shape, appears as a color, appears as smell, appears as sound. Also, when we see eyes, eyes faculty, eyes consciousness, an object, the form, we see as three, but it's not three, all of them just one. Appears three, but in reality only just mind. So all of them one substantial, not three substance. When we think eyes are seeing color shape, but it's not, you seeing yourself. So that's, I think, even the modern science understand, yeah? Modern science, they all color everything in our eyes. There's no such thing. Okay. So this is incredible. They, like 2,500 years, they understand this. Buddha, without any experiment. Okay. So, and the Swatantrika, remember, even Swatantrika say, when you perceive in color and shape, is you not really perceiving directly, you just only seeing a reflection. But there is a reason we reflect, because outside object is true. But here saying outside object not true at all. Okay? There is no make condition or sight. There is no external condition whatsoever. But without analyzing, you can say, I see this. There is shape, there is color. You can say that because that's you talking about how appear according to you, how appears, not the reality. But if you analyze it, then is no such thing externally inherent there. Not only that, but this the mind who perceives the mind itself as a form, that one only is the truth. So that means in mind only school, for them, the mind is the ultimate truth. Everything else not true, which means the relative truth. You can call relative truth, but it's not true.
They call it awareness in this.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
the
awareness. You can
awareness.
say awareness, okay? Okay, zukse now hibanu demerbo. Dinan dernam dernam hi sok thamche jingo demertoblas. Dina dernam hi sok hiba thamche jingo demertobla. Yir shiro na yo pastor now zonchata. Okay, all minds is true existent, but one part is like outside, like a reflect, mind itself reflect, and then the other one is like perceiver. Rikpa na na yo partar na on zinchatis. So you appear when you are in mind, you see, oh, one is outside, one is inside, I am perceiver. But that part is not real. That part is illusion. Because reality, there is no two, only one. There is no object and perceiver. What they say, the two names. How to translate?
Subject, object.
Or subject and object.
Yeah.
They're just one only.
Does not exist.
Okay, then the next verse.
More of because they assert that the objective factor and the subjective factor do not exist apart from each other.
Yes.
The subject-object complex is thought to function non-dually.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, the object factor and the subject factor, the both, there's no two, only one is the truth, but appears two.
And this is asserted to be pristine awareness in the intrinsic essence of ordinary.
Yes, this non-dual, no subject, no object separately, that one is the truth. So that's why they call person in truth, okay? Nam hiji rango tsam his ye his no paso. That's one they call even primordial consciousness, okay? So in that case, the next one, verse I read.
So within their own tradition, adherents of the Taranatha system presume that they have refuted the subject-object complex.
Yes, according to them, that means they refute the subject-object both. So then only they refuted basically duality and only have non-duality. But then high tennis, if they look at the down, and then is you didn't.
Yeah.
Zonzen performance why didn't you refute both? Because you only understood the subject object is only one factor, no separate factor. You only realize that, and you agree with that. But you didn't realize the one is not exist. One is one also, the one mind also inherently exist. You didn't not exist. You didn't realize that. So you said you agree you that one exists, the mind. Okay. So basically, the high level of the tennis look at them, judge them. Oh, okay. You just ordinary sentient being's mind appears externally like external object. That you did realize not true, but only does mind duality, still as duality mind, you think is non-duality. Because this is only mind, not primordial consciousness. This is, therefore, it's still samsaric consciousness. So samsaric consciousness cannot be the truth, ultimate truth. So Taranatha said the mistake is the ordinary mind they took as ultimate truth. That part is their mistake. But everything else is true. They said everything externally not exist at all, everything mind projected, everything mind. That's true, all of them true. Only not true is the ordinary mind they think is the person wisdom. Yeshi. So primordial consciousness, primordial wisdom, is that part is only mistake. Okay. So that means the mind only school is very high and Mahayana. So now Madhyamika, okay? And Taranatha saying, and I think usually people say, oh, when they're talking about Madhyamika, people talk about always say, oh, Satantika and Satantika or Sotantika? Svatantika. The other one is Satantika, right? Along the along the Vibhashika,
Vibhashika and
Swatantrika.
Sotantrika.
This one Sva. Yes, Svatantrika. We call it Dordevshopi Homawa. So usually people, when you talk about the how many categories of Madhyamika, people talk about Svatantrika and Pasanjika. But Taranatha not saying this. Taranatha saying is ordinary Madhyamika and extraordinary or great Madhyamika. He talking like this. So that means Svatantrika and Pasanjika both he put a category of ordinary Madhyamika. Okay, this is big 10. You have to understand the base. So many Tibetans, maybe they didn't understood Zhentong Madhyamika because when they make in the category, they already, all Madhyamika is only Svatantrika and Basmadika. So therefore, many people, they misunderstood that Zhentong Madhyamika is a Mand only school. And some people say, oh, it's not really Mand only school. It's better than Mand only school, like Sakyapaz, the Goramba. He put above of the Mand only school, but lower than Madhyamika. Okay. And yeah, so everybody have very confusion. But their confusion, what causes the confusion? If we don't know the most detail of the history, how happened, why happened, then it's very hard to judge. But there is a possibility why the mistake is when Buddhism make distinction the Hinduism, maybe they're a little bit going too far, like more negation size, going too far. And so then they go, that means they emphasizing is the refusion, everything refusing, and everything. So because the Hindus and the Brahmins, the teachings, most of the Indian, the original teachings, they believe a God. The God is a similar concept of other God believers. So the God is basically ultimate truth, So that's why is you always thinking about the positive side, and you thinking about always the fullness rather than emptiness. So therefore, if maybe they try make special instead thinking the positive and the fullness rather than refusing everything and negating everything. They emphasize that too much, and then maybe they forgot about the wonderfulness of this fullness, and this we call namkan chukdanji, which means the totality of everything. So that is exist in the Buddhism teachings, but they didn't emphasize, maybe forgotten. So that is one possibility. I'm not claiming that is definite, but I'm just thinking that is one possibility. Okay, so that's why then they forgot then, because these teachings mostly come from Yogacara. So this Zhentongpa's view is like Yogacara school. So in Tibet, there is no such thing Yogacara. I mean, there is Yogacara, when you categories of Svatantrika, you two categories, there is similar of name this. But is they maybe mix up each other a little bit, maybe possible. So that's why there's indications, for instance, the Chinese Buddhism come before Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan Buddhism mostly in 8th century. But Chinese Buddhism in the 4th century.
So that's 400 years earlier. But the Chinese Buddhism does not have separately the Zhentong Majjhimika and Ranton Majjhimika. But all Zhentong Majjhimika teachings in there. And they accept 100%. There's no problem at all. But Tibetans try to make very distinguish and then maybe emphasize some parts maybe forgot about a little bit, some parts maybe mix them up a little bit. So that's possibility. Otherwise, why they forgot, this? The other possibility, the Majjhimika is maybe only name for this Svatantrika and Pasanjika. And the Zhentongpa, you don't have to say Majjhimika. But maybe people think Majjhimika must be high, and then everybody want high. So then some people made their Majjhimika, Zhentong Majjhimika. Because not only these two, Svatantrika and Pasanjika, all Buddhist schools, everybody believe themselves as Majjhimika. Because Majjhimika means middle way. Middle way means free from extremes. Free from extremes means eternalism and nihilism. Free from this. So that's everybody claiming they are free from. Why? Because anything extreme is bad. We all know. Even basic living survival things, if you go extreme, anything is not good. So that's we all know. And then Buddha, he emphasized his path is free from extremes, the middle path. So that's why the basic level of Buddha's teaching is from the living, nothing to do with this good big philosophy, but when living and the path, not ascetic way, but not androgen way, and middle way. So that time, many people must go into, good practitioners must be going to ascetic way, because ascetic way going is not easy, but androgen is very easy, right? The majority people always take the easy. So then Buddha went ascetic way. Remember, first he didn't eat and everything, and he nearly dead. He went ascetic way, and then he find the middle path because of this Brahma woman. Always have this some big problem, some woman's solve problem. In the history, we have to know that. Okay, there's always a special story, always a woman. So we don't go details today, but just keep in the mind. But this, even the Buddha, he nearly died, that the Brahma woman, Brahma young girl, I think she offered milk, and then he found the middle path. So since then, your survival way, or your practice way, your path, your view, your attitude, everything, they go middle path. So that's why everybody claims they are middle path. So doesn't matter you call your Yogacara school, or you call Chittamata school, or you call Majjhimika school, you call Vibhashika, you call Satantrika, doesn't matter. Everybody believe themselves as a middle path. So that's why Majjhimika is not a special name. Just this, maybe lets these people think, oh, we are Majjhimika, and they emphasize much more on we are Majjhimika, and the others didn't say much silently. So that could be other reason. But the other reason also, Taranatha said, somewhere else he said, Jitamata is later on not exist. Only Yogacara teachings exist later on. And the Jitamata 500 teachers before Nagachona or something, very long time ago. They are not exist later on. So that's why there could be mistake that Asanga created Jitamata doctrine that's commonly known, but that also could be mistake. Why? Because Asanga come later than Nagarjuna. And that time you don't need the Jitamata's teachings, maybe. Okay. So then people mix up. Okay, that means Asanga, he talking only you. He only teaching Yogacara teaching, Yogacara doctrine. When he talking Yogacara doctrine, then people interpret it like Jitamata. Some people interpret Jitamata. But also there's many scholars, even Tibetan scholars, they believe Jitamata doctrine and Yogacara doctrine, they are same doctrine, but they just interpretation differently. So that's why I think many people didn't understood the Zhentong is Madhyamika. But Taranatha and Tolpopa, they talking about this is a great Madhyamika, not just ordinary Madhyamika. So that means for them is because Tibetan's mind already fixed, or you can say the Mahayana mind, not only Tibetan's Mahayana mind already fixed, oh, Madhyamika is the best. And according to that, then maybe they didn't argue Yogacara, it doesn't have to be Madhyamika. But instead, oh, Zhentong is not just Madhyamika, is great Madhyamika, is extraordinary Madhyamika. Okay, could be that way. So I'm teaching the scholars, so you guys can analyze. I'm providing you guys how to analyze. Okay. Okay, Roma Chembo Niji Palwan, Wonder Ranston the Traction, Gyod Renikar Ngonian me perma Jitahades. So what say Dharma?
Common Madhyamika is known as Rangtong, and in both India and Tibet, those who adhere to this system were known as those who assert that there is no intrinsic essence.
Yeah, essenceless, the simple meaning. The Rangtong Madhyamika is India and Tibet both known as essenceless. Essenceless Madhyamika. Or some people are translated identical-less. Huh?
Identity-less.
Identity-less. Okay. So why they say that? Do you know why? Because these schools say both two truth is not intrinsic nature at all. You know, before we say, oh, this is truth, this is truth, but saying here, Rangtong means, Rang means itself. Myself, itself. Yourself. Tong means empty, absent, not existent, non-existent, non-existent itself. So non-existent itself means non-existent relative truth, non-existent ultimate truth. Then both two truth is non-existent. Okay, so that's why I call essenceless. And then these are the names of the teachers.
Buddha Palita,
Buddha Palita,
Bhavavika,
Bhavavika,
Mimuktasana,
Mimuktisana,
and Santarakshita.
Shantarakshita, yes. These ones are the teachers of the Rangtong Madhyamika, okay? So they have inside, they have many arguments themselves, each other. Okay. So we're not going to talk about that details too much. That's details only somebody really have to expert in this part, you know, and then unneeded. Here we're talking about what they commonly agree in each other. Okay, that is tamchet zuksim gni tang daman de shit the daman de shit den du shi ji ngubo tamchet tang. Okay, can you read that?
Although there are internal disputes among the many different divisions of this philosophical system, they are all in agreement that all conditional substances, including the mind, material forms, non-concurrent factors.
Non-concurrent factor.
Yeah.
I said in the past
Composition.
compositional factor. So yeah, okay, whatever is better. And then the space, right?
And all phenomena, yeah, and is unconditional, such as space and so forth, are relative.
Yes, okay, then they're saying both is not true, both essenceless, the two truth, all of them essenceless, all of them inherently never exist, but they still making distinguishes ultimate truth, relative truth. So these ones we talk about is a relative truth, okay? Ter nam ki ramjin din mit samna tontam dem ba yin chang yin chang ter ni ngo xik tang tatat kan tang jot mes. So all of them above we said, all of them is not non-existent, right? Non-existent. This non-existent is only our ultimate truth. Okay, that part is very strange. Okay. So this non-existent is the ultimate truth. Okay, at the same time, okay, then is this non-existent and the ultimate truth and the relative truth, are they same nature or separated? They say no common. What's that text?
Their distinctions are merely in how they are presented.
Huh?
It's got both relative and ultimate.
Oh, yeah. You cannot present.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they're presented.
Sorry?
Since the nature of the ultimate expanse is considered to be nothing whatsoever, they teach that what is free from fabrications is like space.
But what separate this is two aspects?
They say both relative and ultimate are inexpressible.
Yes.
As either the same,
yeah,
or as a different nature.
Yes, and then after that?
And their distinctions.
Or distinctions, yes.
Yeah, are merely in how they are presented.
Okay. So distinctions just you can say, but they are not really. Right?
Their differences.
Yeah, and then?
Are how they are presented.
Yes, they are free from elaborations.
Yes.
Julie, could you get closer to the microphone? It's very hard to hear.
It's okay.
Or you can speak a lot louder.
Oh, I'll try.
We can't hear online as easily.
I'm just reading from the text, but I'll come closer. Do you want me to read the
You
next
can
bit?
see this here.
They won't hear.
No, I just meant in general. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'm sitting.
Okay, read that the last one a little bit.
The last one.
Yeah.
Both relative and ultimate are inexpressible as either the same or as a different nature, and their distinctions are merely in how they are presented. That's what we just did.
Okay.
Since the nature of the ultimate expanse is considered to be nothing whatsoever, They teach that what is free from fabrications is like space.
Yeah.
Through the example of illusion, they teach that even though there are relative appearances that occur within time, they are devoid of any reality and appear without interruption.
Okay. So basically saying, this nothingness, simple way, I think a simple language, this nothingness is the ultimate truth. This is free from fabrication. Fabrication, so just like space. And then say, okay, what about then? What happened then? What about Buddha's mind? Buddha have to omniscient mind, have to really have to know everything. So then the non-existent, how know everything? So then the answer is Sangiji Yeki so Kunzup Yinchang. Of Dimber Mizerwa, Tontam Dimbayang of Dinmitandot Patans. Sangiji Yeki so Kunzup Yinchang. Of Dimber Mizerwa, Yang Tontam of Dimbayang Mit. What say the Buddha's the mind? Existent, no existent, what say?
It says that, well, it goes on here to say, through the example of illusion, they teach that even though there are relative appearances that occur within time, they are devoid of any reality and appear without interruption. Both relative and ultimate are asserted to be beyond all fabrications, such as existent or non-existent, being and non-being. It doesn't say Buddha's mind.
No,
Next.
above. Oh, no, next. Okay.
Yeah, even after
Yeah.
that,
Further
the
down,
points.
yeah.
Yeah.
The mistaken assertions are
Huh?
so it goes into points of where the mistakes are.
Mistake.
He
Yeah.
says it there in the,
Underneath
You don't have this Sangiji Yekiso.
the
So the Buddha's mind, Buddha's primordial mind is a relative or
yeah, well, it does further down. These are
Okay.
in the points.
oh, okay.
There's 3 points.
Yes.
1, the ultimate actuality of phenomena is a mere negation of fabrications like space.
Yeah.
That's 1. The pristine awareness of a Buddha is relative and is not established to be real.
Okay. The person Buddha's mind is relative truth,
And
not real.
Not real.
Okay. They're saying they have to say this Buddha's mind is the relative truth, not ultimate truth. Why they have to say this? If it was ultimate truth, then is nothing. Okay? Zero attends. Tontam dembayang den mitendo patans. So then the ultimate truth is non-existent over say.
Not established to be real.
Yeah, not established to real. Okay? Chapter. So especially Pasangika say. I'll read that one.
In particular, the Prasangika are mistaken in refusing to assert anything in their attempts to quell the debates of others, despite their presentation of a philosophical system, and in their assertion that perverted thinking can be reversed even while an ascertaining awareness has not come about.
Okay. So the Pasangika especially not take any position, say positionless or something like that. Why do that? Taranatha command. Why they do that? Because Zhenji Sopal and Zembifir. So avoiding other people confronting. Okay, confronting you are not nihilism, but it sounds like act like nihilism. But then you cannot say I'm a nihilism. Okay, I accept nihilism. So then say, oh no, I'm no position, no position. It's go beyond that, like that way. Okay? And then you saw Malan Zambi Shet, Ki Million Batang, Nishi Marki Jan, Lochtok, Lochorn dot pass, on Trayan last. So, and the distance, the Taranatha, he pointed out mistakes, their faults. Not saying all wrong, everything is a fault, but this part, he said, that's no make sense. And then also, he said, Nishi Marki Jan, Lochtok, Lochorn dot pass, on Trayan.
However, this system is not mistaken in asserting
No,
that,
before that, a little bit.
well, we read on that.
Sometimes you don't realize.
This assertion that perverted thinking can be reversed even while an ascertaining awareness has not come about.
That means without realization, you can abandon, you can eliminate the samsaric problems without realization. Okay, that part is not real. Okay, then.
However, this system is not mistaken in asserting that all phenomena subsumed within the subject-object complex are devoid of reality, and that even the mere absence of any reality cannot be established as real.
Yeah. So he's saying, din mit samteyang, din bermatrepa sogna manorvainos. They're saying, oh, it is not true. We are free from everything, free from or four directions, free from 8 directions. So saying, yes, it is not true, it's not exist, but even non-existent also is not exist. That part is okay. Taranatha saying that you can say that, no problem. And then Mandal school.
Both adherents of the Chittamatra and Rangtong Madhyamika do not clearly assert within their own systems the definitive secret of the enlightened essence and naturally radiant, self-cognizant, ultimate pristine awareness.
Okay, he's saying both this Chittamatra school, Mandoli school, and the essenceless Madhyamika, both they didn't really know what is the Buddha nature exactly. Okay, they only know how to refuse in where everybody attachment and this truly existent and self-grasp, and all of them, they know how to refuse philosophically, but they didn't really know what is beyond that. Okay, he's saying that. Okay, so this is a definitive, the secret they didn't know. They didn't know the absolute, the pristine, the primordial nature, self-luminate. They didn't understood that at all. They takkan so makovis. So he's saying this misunderstanding is later on come up, not early. Early teachers, they didn't refuse any Zhentong. So early means he talking about Nagarjuna and Asanga. These people, and then Asanga's the how do you say, Vazabandhu, the Dignanga, Dharmakirti, all of them, the excellent ones, the 6 ornament of the world and excellent ones, they didn't. But the later on ones, they have this limited understanding. That's he said. Jim Jones of Shawanam, Gigahab Shin Mojang, Janton Kutumtika, not Markoana, not Goana, Chikame, Shungama. The later on, they try to, the argue in Zhentong and try to refusing is all of them not without understanding what Zhentong means exactly. All argument is without understanding, not real. That is saying. Okay, so maybe we have to leave there today because we have something next. So, right? Is it time?
Yes.
Up to you. We could go a little longer, Rinpoche, or we could, it's been about an hour and 10 minutes. We can conclude if we think it's, we're on track for 2 more sessions. Do you think we're on track for 2 more sessions and completing the commentary?
No, we have to finish it on time.
We're not halfway yet.
Huh?
We're not halfway.
There's
We
Yeah,
have
but
more
we
time.
have, how long we have
2
time?
more weeks.
Only 2 more.
No,
We have
tonight.
50 minutes left.
Ah, 50?
Yes.
It's only 10 past 8. We've been 1 hour.
Oh. Oh, okay. Okay, then we can go more further. Okay, now the Gurad Majamika, which means the Zhentong. Zhentong, why now we go through this, then we know why, how come the ordinary Majamika have mistakes, okay? Limited understanding. Nipa Goma Chembonus, the great Majamika, what Zhentong the Trakpa Namrik Gomartes. So in Tibetan known as Zhentong, which means is Yogacara Majamika. Taranatha, he called Yogacara Majamika. Okay. So that's we talk about before, why, how come, what possibilities. So I already talked about. Is it like that translation? Yeah. So then he talking about why is this is the most truth? Because he talking about the doctrine where the resources, of course, the Buddha's, the teachings, the whole 3 training Dharma whales, and especially emphasize the 3rd Dharma whale and the old Tantrayana system. That's why it's more advanced. That means everybody got these teachings, but they interpreted it differently. Okay? So, but then the interpretation, he is saying, who did interpret it is more sources, most the great ones. For instance, first, Bodhisattva Maitreya. So Bodhisattva Maitreya is a 10th level of Bodhisattva according to Sutrayana, but according to Tantrayana is a real Buddha, so then is next Buddha coming. Okay? And then Asanga, so Asanga is a 3rd Burmi level of, and Buddha himself and the what do you call prophesize Asanga can make what is Buddha's provisional teaching and what is definitive teaching. Who is going to make is Asanga make. After 900 years later, Buddha himself quoted that very clear. Everybody knows, okay? And then Asanga's brother, younger brother, is Vajrabuddha, known as like a 2nd Buddha of nation. Incredible scholar, okay? And he followed that. And then many Ranton Baz Nangajuna is only talk like Ranton, but the Zhentong disagree. Even Nagajona's 6 treatises more emphasize Ranton, but it still said Zhentong sometime. But his praises or Zhentong. So that's why. And his other teachings is according to 1st Dharma way, like more common Buddhism, Theravada way. So that's how they explain a little bit short of. So he's the Dharma press, Dharma Dhatu, Nangajonas, they are referring to the Zhentong very clearly. So he said all these great areas, they real view, the ultimate, their view their own view is Great Majamika, Zhentong. That's he saying. Okay, that's he talk about the source, how rich is the source. The luglas himsam manchetan dot pi lugman duma shich samso duma shich takhor ngumit namtang zuk soko sheton takhwatang nam hibi tsok gel sem shong ngapchi ngachik soko ndorna shin korwi chur namtang nishkab lam give dubi chur namtang us sangi give dubi drive sangi give dubi chur nam nani sart fyong char namtang drsya janang give dupate nautak gi chusam chunir gangi gi lif shewasam zonzen give dubi chusam tontam khtan lambe pi kamdar ngupo ngumit tamchit ndushi tang aloro. Okay, read that one.
In this system, what is not considered to be real is that which is immaterial, such as the three unconditioned phenomena and imputed unconditioned phenomena, as asserted by the Chittamatra system discussed below, material forms and so forth that are known to be external reference, the 8 types of ordinary awareness, the 51 operations of the mind, and in brief, all phenomena of outwardly samsara.
Okay. So what he's saying is, here, all of them read different categories of phenomena. He's saying, or the doctrine, all of them is a compounded phenomenon, impermanent, and samsaric phenomenon. Lower to did you say temporary? Lower to
Not temporary.
Okay, you read further a little bit.
All phenomena subsumed within the circumstantial paths, from among that which is subsumed within the fruition of Buddhahood, the newly arisen facets, and that which is subsumed within the externalizing perceptions of disciples.
Yes. All samsara is impermanent, everything, but not only that, even the path of enlightenment is still many things impermanent and compounded, okay? For instance, the provision or the paths, okay? Provision or virtue path and enlightenment path, all of them is not real, okay? And then, okay, then in that case, is after fruition, the Buddhahood, then is everything is must be real, must be the ultimate truth. The answer is no. The newly risen verse are impermanent again. Why? Because darshala navi dupartes. Because this is a manifestation of you have to connect with sentient beings. Anything have to be connected with sentient beings. Is impermanent. It is compounded. It's not real. Not real means only real appearance, but it's not ultimately real. Okay? Not that you choose all appearances and hearing or everything. Then so chuchunit dharma dhatu and dharma, right? How you say it?
Oh, we don't have them.
Yes, we have after the appearance, the manifestation of sentient being, the appearances after that.
Yeah, all phenomena, fruition of Buddhahood.
Yeah, after that.
Then we go in other words, the phenomena of sight and sounds, the phenomena that is divided among being phenomena or the actuality of phenomena.
Yes, this is true. So that another way of saying the ultimate truth and the relative truth, okay? Shusam. Okay, then the next one.
And the phenomena that is subsumed within the subject-object complex.
Yes.
At the moment of ascertaining the ultimate, this is all actuality and that which lacks actuality,
Yes.
as well as all that is conditioned and that is temporary in its
Yes,
place.
that's it. So there are non-existent actualities. Yeah, you say this actuality is actuality and non-actuality.
Yeah, it says
all of them compounded.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Compounded, and they are temporary. Okay. They are non-existent, right? Not true.
Yes.
So then, okay, what is left? What is left? Something is not compounded and not impermanent. And what is left then now?
Naturally radiant, self-cognizant, pristine awareness that is not divided from the expanse is known as ultimate reality, the unconditional actuality of phenomena. Yes,
that is the Buddha nature. That is enlightened, real enlightenment. That one is what difference is, the huge difference is no more Zhentong, no more Majjhimika, say this also equal as the all samsara, all of them inherently non-existent. Remember, essenceless. But here, Zhentong said that is not essenceless. That is not compounded. That is not the temporary. This is the truth. This is the fullness. Okay? That's very big difference. Yeah.
This is the only established reality that can withstand the scrutiny of reasoning. Since those who uphold Rangtong assert that this expanse is like space and is found to be insubstantial when critically analyzed, they don't consider this ultimate reality.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, and according to Zhentong, this is real. You cannot analyze it. You cannot understand it through analyze. Okay. Then why we analyzing? Okay, we analyzing, we understanding is unlimited, but better than nothing. That's why we analyzing. For instance, if you say sun is this is sun, you show with finger, you don't really know exactly our sun. How much percentage sun you know exactly? Not even 1%. But it's better to know, oh, this is sun, or you have zero idea. Which one better? Definitely, oh, this is sun, definitely not moon. This is sun, I'm sure. Okay, that's one we do in here. Okay. And Rangtong was saying, have to be everything like this space, nothing. Okay. Tontam Demba, you know, Jila, from Tandan, Kyunmid, Yunan Tamshetardam. Here, Rangtong not same, Rangtong Nam Dopi, Nam Kartavate, number Kshanar Mumidi in first. Oh, so Rangtong was saying, Rangtong Majjhimika saying the ultimate truth is like this space. Okay. That's why they put together categories, space, and then the ultimate truth is like this, nothingness. And then the same time, they don't say nothingness. They say, oh, this is, you know, like the one language, they say nothingness, but then they don't say nothingness. They say, oh, this is great, the ultimate truth. And then Taranatha challenging them, say, oh, you can't be ultimate truth, nothingness, so, you know. And then he said, even the your example, even this space is not correct, because the space is nothingness. Space is, you cannot analyze anything. It's not substantial, nothing. Nothingness, we just label, we just imputed space. Okay, so that's why according to Zhentong, the space is permanent. But Taranatha said, this Zhentong said, this is not permanent. This is only imputation of your mind. How can it be permanent? Real permanent is Buddha nature. This is cannot be permanent. Saying that. So therefore, this tennis you cannot compare any faultless, you cannot compare. That's he said. Okay, and then next.
Everyone who adheres to the Mahayana accepts all the Mahayana sutras as the Buddha's discourses. Even so, the Chittamatra system upholds these four as definitive. Samdhi Nimachana Sutra, Lankavatara Sutra, Gandavyuha Sutra, Avatamsaka Sutra. Other sutras are then considered to be provisional in their meaning. The founders of this philosophical system were the early 500 masters.
Okay, here's in. Takchin bar namna tamchit takchin jimdo tamchit kwarndo kyangsi. So remember this Vibhashika and Sutrantika, they refuse many sutras, not Buddha's teachings. But these Mahayana schools, all of them, Chinese Mahayana, Tibetan Mahayana, everybody believe these all sutras, Buddha's real teaching. And then the Jetsun school say these sutras, the mentioned, all of them is they are definitive teaching. Other teachings, other than these sutras, they are provisional teaching. Okay, then who is their teachers? He said, the 500 teachers long time ago. Okay, that's I taught before. And now then, okay, then Madhyamika, the ordinary Madhyamika Ranthomba, or above of the teachings, they are belong to the third Dharma veil. They believe they are provisional teaching. Okay, why they call provisional teaching? Because in that, the ultimate truth, the Buddha nature, everything is so much quality, the fullness, the talk about the permanent, everything, eternal, everything. So that's why they think, oh, there must be provisional teaching, cannot be the truth. So that's why they is think is provisional teaching. Only second Dharma well and the Parishana Paramata is a definitive teaching, because in this more emphasize the negation. So Zhentong believe that in that Parishana Paramita also say Zhentong sometimes, but the emphasize in negotiation. That's no problem for them. In negotiating, no problem, because you emphasize one side. But the you negating all relative truth or non-existence, negating. But the ordinary Madhyamikas, they think this is no more. But the Zhentong saying, hey, that's only one side, negative relative side. But the ultimate, what is ultimate truth really is, what is exactly that you have to understand through the third Dharma veil and the Tantrayana. And here, no much, only little. That's what they're saying, okay? Then who made that? Now he's talking about this Buddha Palita, right?
Yep.
And who else? Also. Oh,
Right.
above we mentioned all of them.
Rahulabhadra,
Yes.
Nagarjuna.
The nam ki rang ring dot bi rakchen zan zang so la ngo nyin me parma dang. So khon ga ledrep kyang tam tan the khonan zin ba yin dot. So these people believe that the Nagarjuna is only believe this way. They don't think the others. They think, oh, this way, and the Nagarjuna's real point is this. Nagarjuna is, the teacher of only us, our tradition. They think that way. So then the extraordinary Majjhimika Zhentong, they don't believe that way. They believe all Dharma wheels, all three Dharma wheels have to combine together and non-contradiction. Okay? So they understand that way. And then two sutras mentioned here.
Kachayanagota Sutta and Mahasunyata Sutta.
Yeah, this one is belonged to the first Dharma wheel. But still inside here, third Dharma wheels, the Buddha nature emphasized there exist, even the first Dharma wheel. So Zhentong way understanding the third Dharma wheel emphasize different, but they all non-contradiction. And then Buddha materials.
The chapter requested by Maitreya in the 25,000 stanza Prajnaparamita Sutra, the 500 stanza Prajnaparamita Sutra.
Yes, those texts belong to the second Dharma wheel. They emphasize is negation, empty, everything empty. But still, there is talking about Buddha nature and the third Dharma where subject is still there in there. So very thoroughly understanding. Okay. Yeah, read a little bit.
As well as several sutras from the final turning, such as the 4 sutras and so forth, that taught the ordinary course system of how the ultimate actuality of phenomena is established as real.
Yes. Okay, so that's why all of them, they talk about the Buddha nature, basically. Ramthompa never emphasize, never understand. Yeah.
Then it also relies upon several sutras that taught the consummate definitive meaning, including, I'll have a go, they're long, Tathagata Garbha Sutra, Mahabari Kaparivata Sutra, Anguli Malaya Sutra,
Yeah.
Sri Maladis Vimhananda Sutra,
Yeah.
Mahaparinirvana Sutra, Ratnamega Sutra, Prasanta Vinischaya Asamadhi Sutra.
Yes. Okay, these all sutras, they emphasize the ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth really is, what is the Buddha nature really is, instead negating the relative truth. Okay? Yeah.
These compose a subtle and extraordinary system, a secret narrative on how the very nature of the perfect expanse, the essence of the Tathagatas, and the absolute dimension of phenomena are constant, stable, and everlasting.
Yes, that's what I said. Okay.
As well as on how the totality of the ultimate enlightened qualities of Buddhahood reside inherently from original time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then yes, sutras.
The author who then elucidated the meaning of these sutras was the majestic regent Maitreya. In his Abhisamaya Lamkara.
Oh, you are reading there. Okay. Don't tham shedam door na rangshi of Jugpi from Tatmo or Nambasat of the Bayelas. Doch Sershid Jean bonus. Okay, so all these sutras are talking about the ultimate truth of Buddha nature, the positive side, the quality side, rather than just the empty side. Okay. absent of this compounded and permanent samsara, the dirtiness, this. Instead that, what is quality really is. And then, okay, who commentary on that? You're talking about that now. Who commentary is this? And which doctrine commentary on this? That he's talking about now, Maitreya.
In his Abhisamaya Lamkara, he concisely describes this through technical vocabulary. In his Mahayana Sutra Lamkara, Madhyantavibhanga, and Dharma Dharmata Vibhanga, he then explains this more extensively and lucidly. And in his Uttara Tantra, he resolves the subtleties of this extraordinary system on the meaning of the sutras on the essence.
Okay. So the problem is this. If the Rantomba way, then you have many contradictions because Buddha emphasized Asanga is a third level of Burmi Bodhisattva, and he make distinguish which Buddha's teachings, which one is the definitive, which one is provisional. He make distinguish in this. They have to agree. No choice. And also Tibetan old traditions, they agree with this. They cannot, nobody is brave enough to refuse in Buddha's prophecies. Also Buddha, the Asanga, they made very clearly named and prophesied, not just interpretation. Very clearly. So they have to agree with that, right? The same time, and then the Buddha's, the materials, these 5 books is Tibetan core teachings, okay? Tradition, all traditions, all Tibetan traditions, they core teachings this, everybody's. At the same time, the most high ones, they go high and high, they're more contradicting the Rantomba way. Then they have to interpret it like that way. But at the same time, when we're talking about Rantomba have many different schools, and they disagree each other in the past and also now. Now we have like, let's say, in generally, in Tibetan tradition, okay, if you ask a Nyamapa, probably especially these modern ones, they say they are Rantomba. If you say, are you Rantomba, Zhentong? Probably mostly they say they are Rantomba. And Kagyupa, if you say this, probably they say that. Sarkyapa definitely say that. Gelugpa, no doubt, right? But then in this teaching, Taranatha say, all third dharma well, Rantombas believe interpretation, provisional teaching, not definitive teaching, right? But that's the main Gelugpa. Main Rantomba like Gelugpa. 100% is definitely Rantomba is Gelugpa. So Gelugpa, yes, believe that way. Still believe that way. But if you ask a Nyama, no. Third Dharma will definitive teaching. Just same as like Chona. Maybe few words they disagree, I don't know. But mostly, majority of Nyama say yes. So then that's why my personal view, the Nyama Bas Zhentong. And the early Nyama teachings look at, they all 98% look like Zhentong. Okay? But the good thing is Nyama never criticize Zhentong. They don't criticize. When I say never, I can't guarantee one person, okay? But 99.99, no, never. Always praise. The Nyangmapas, the highest lamas, always praise Zhentong. And they love Zhentong. And Karkipas the same, majority of them. Sakya, sometimes yes, sometimes some no, some yes. Majority no, probably. Gelugpa, very rarely yes, Zhentongpa, but majority definitely not. So this thing like a contradiction is a little bit there, okay? Because firstly, you have to believe that a Sangha is very high and Buddha's prophesies. The same time, you're not understanding fully the Asangha's teachings. You're contradicting a little bit. And then that means actually Buddha Maitreya. You're contradicting Buddha Maitreya. Why? Because Asanga is messenger between Buddha, Bodhisattva, Maitreya, and us. So Asanga's all teachings emphasize the Buddha Maitreya's the most difficult teachings. Actually, Asanga is commentator of all the hidden teachings of Buddha. Nagarjuna is great, but Nagarjuna, he emphasized much more emptiness, so which means it's obvious teachings. It's not hidden teachings. So Asanga have incredible richness of teachings. So therefore, doctrine-wise, you know, the Zhentong one thing and Zhentong never agree each other inside in the past and now. That's also indication there's some problem. I mean, this is, I'm providing, you know, like basis of you think of, basis of you analyze. It's not saying, oh, this is the only the truth. I know, I the only person know the truth. I'm not saying that. But I'm providing for you guys to analyze. And then the logically, when we say relative truth, ultimate truth, true truth, put in the same bucket, same substance, same negation, then also what happens? You could say for beginners, maybe that's good. Because too much grasping everything. So this is a way of the entering the path and way of progress in path. That's no problem. But if you take as the truth, then is some kind of problem. Basically, Zhentong saying, oh, this is earth. Earth is this only small. Sun is this. Sun is very big, much bigger than Earth, blah, blah, talking about that. So that means, oh, this is the relative truth. Is there? It's not self. We appears self, but it's not really. So it's not true, blah, blah. But the old Buddha nature is truth. Right? That's Zhentong Bawe. Zhentong Bawe is saying, oh, sun and earth both not exist. Not exist. They are both equally small or equally small, equally big, equally non-exist. You put in an equal. And another way, we say, oh, we have Earth, maybe not contain many people in the future, so we move into the Mars. That is, we're talking about like Zhentong Bawe. Oh, we are, this ego self is always produce samsara and suffering nature, is always impermanent ignorance. We don't know even our lifetimes, where we come from, where we go, nothing. We don't know even tomorrow what happened. So we better have omniscient mind. We better have, you know, compassionate mind, a perfect So that Buddhahood we go, okay, we go into the Mars that way. And it's not about way, oh, Mars terrible, oh, as Earth, there is no such thing. The perfect nothingness. The perfect is nothingness. The Mars is bad. The Earth is bad. Our solar system is terrible. The only perfect is nothingness. That kind of.
You could probably finish
Okay, so
42.
okay, so okay, may I maybe leave there here. So what I'm talking about the contradictions, if you can think about, and then you can provide questions and challenges. Challenge me. I mean, not now, right?
Not now, in the next session,
Yeah,
which will
next session.
be
Next
in a
session, you
week.
can provide questions and also challenges, and whatever you want to say is free opportunity. Because we're not competing here. It's not competition. It is exchanging. It is exchange, opportunity of exchange. Okay? So thank you, everyone.
Ryan, will you conclude by leading us in the dedication prayer?
Yeah. Sit there.
We'll do the Jonang dedication.
A short one. Which one short?
Oh, Rime is a little bit
Alright,
short.
Mm.
We'll do
Quite a
the
bit.
Rime portion. By all these virtuous deeds of accumulated merit, may all beings be rescued from the ocean of samsara, where the tide of aging, sickness, and death is violently active. May this merit help all beings attain Buddhahood and be victorious over all the enemies of deceptive obscurations. By the goodness of what I have just done, may all beings complete the accumulation of merit and wisdom and gain the two sacred bodies. Whatever roots of virtue have been accumulated now or throughout the 3 times, I dedicate them here so that all mother-like beings may attain perfect and complete Buddhahood. Just like the exalted ones Manjushri and Samantabhadra practiced, like them, I rejoice in all the virtues still to come and fully dedicate them as well. In future lives, may I never be separated from my glorious Lama. May I never be separated from the joy of practicing the precious Dharma. May I accomplish all the enlightened Bhumi levels and paths and attain the Buddhahood of Vajradhara. As long as space remains, as long as beings exist, may I remain and expel their sorrows until they reach Buddhahood. May the precious renunciation arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious ethical discipline arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious bodhicitta arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious view of emptiness arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious Dharma be respected and remain in this world. The only medicine and cure for suffering, the source of all happiness, is the sacred Dharma. By the power of the 3 bodies of the Buddhas, the immutable truth of the Dharma, by the power of the inseparable union of the Sangha, may all our wishes be fulfilled. Just like the morning sun rising in the sky, may these teachings of the unsurpassable great secret of all the Buddhas spread and flourish throughout this world. Through the profound aspirations of the Bodhisattva kings of Shambhala, may we manifest the glory of the 2nd golden age in this world. May all of us Dharma brothers and sisters come to enjoy the good fortune of our courage and commitment. Om Swasti. Dharmakaya truth body, primordially free from stains of elaboration, inconceivable treasury of spontaneous clear light, perfect pristine awareness of wisdom and compassion, appearing completely as the body of the deity. Guru Kala Chakra, please protect us. Virtuous friend who with the 2 dharmas transmits an ocean of nectar, the compassionate blessings of Manjushri and all the victor's children, that manifest as a magical display of enlightened activities. Beloved guide of incomparable wisdom, may you live a long and healthy life. Endowed with Samaya, Vajra disciples gather like clouds, roaring like thunder. The melodious sounds of Sutra and Tantra ring out. and the ambrosial rain that ripens and liberates, moistens the earth. May the great lotus garden of the Buddha's teachings flourish for all time.
Okay, thank you, everyone.